Hello, it's Thursday everyone, and it's time for another exciting episode of whatever this is. This week is video games, and, well, games in general, not just video games, I think, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I like lots of games. I've played lots of games because my best friend Sarah and her family has tons of games, and I've always played video games, but I mean, they have tons of board games and real people games because video games aren't real people games. So anywho, let's see here. Probably my favorite board game is Settlers of Catan, and I don't know if you guys have played it, but it's awesome. Usually the pieces are made in Germany, if I remember correctly, or at least the old ones were. You guys should look it up. It's kind of like you each have these separate spots of land that have resources on them, and you have to build cities and connect your cities together with roads, and you have to have a certain amount of points to win the game, and I always get the longest road, which is, having the longest road, and it always makes Sarah mad because I seem to somehow cut her off, and then she can't play the game anymore, but I mean, really. Let's see, I'm trying to think of some other games. That's probably the only really fun board game I like. But for card games, I like, classic Rummy. Don't know how to play euchre at all. I don't know if you guys do. I never got good at it, and then I'll, learn the rules, and then I'll never play again for, 3 years, and then someone will want to play, and I'll be like, I don't know how to play. I'm not good. Sorry. I mean, I'll try, but I'll suck, and I won't enjoy it at all. And there's another card game called Munchkin, which is really fun. It's where you're a Munchkin, and you get these special abilities, and you have different classes and races, and yeah, you do crazy things like kill dragons and different bosses, and you can work together and bargain, and usually Sarah and I team up and annoy her brother, because we will team up and kill him. And, what else? Egyptian Rat Screw, also called ERS, is always a fun card game. It's kind of like War on Crack, and you guys should really look it up if you've never played it, because it's fun when you have nothing to do and it's really quick to play, and someone always gets hurt, especially if you're wearing rings. Don't wear a ring. Another game we've played is called Curses, and it's kind of funny. It's where you have challenge cards and curse cards, and in the challenge cards it's something like, tell your 4th grade class that drugs are bad. So then you have to act it out, and the people have to guess, and if they guess correctly, you pick up a curse card, and with the curse card you can give it to one of the other players, and it makes them do crazy things, like you have to act like your arms are connected to your chest, or you have to speak with an Irish accent the entire game, or every time someone rings the bell you have to act like you've gotten electrocuted. So it's fun. It's probably would be an awesome drinking game. Now to get into my specialty, video games. The first video game I remember playing was one of the really old Super Mario games on the NES, the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, whatever it's being called these days. The gray box with the red wording and the cartridge that you put in, and you had the yellow gun that you could shoot at the screen to kill the ducks. That game, that system, it was awesome. So that's probably the first console I remember. I don't know if you guys remember the game You Don't Know Jack, but I used to play it back on the Windows 95 and 98, and that was awesome. And then probably my favorite game as a kid, well, I've got a few favorite games as a kid. There were a lot of good games, but some of them were learning games, but one was Putt-Putt with the purple car and the dog, and the car would drive around and do things because it was in a world of where cars could drive around and talk. I feel like the movie Cars and Pixar stole that. But, anywho, so there was Putt-Putt Goes to the Moon, Putt-Putt Goes to the Zoo, then there was just the original Putt-Putt where he was, I think, he wanted to go to the parade, but he was dirty, so you had to get him to the car wash so he could get clean, so then he could be in the parade. And I remember having to load it up on floppy disks, and it had 18 of those, because I think a floppy only holds 1.5 megs, maybe a little more. Not a lot. Then there was Math Blaster. Do you guys remember Math Blaster? Because I played it back on one of the old Macs, and you had to jump around and fly and do crazy things, and it was awesome. And then there was Treasure Mountain, I think it was called. It was another math game where you had to do math problems and things, and you got up the mountain. And then when you got up the mountain, for some reason, you always had to jump down and you would parachute down. And I think you had to get like some pickaxe. I don't remember. You had to get something, but it was fun. And then Oregon Trails, because everybody loves to die of dysentery. Now the best part of video games, the MMORPGs. My first one that I played was RuneScape, back in the day, like way back there. And I don't remember what level I got to, but I ended up doing that $5 paid version where you got to go to the special private area that no one else could go unless they paid. It wasn't really that magical. Never is. Next, I moved up to my largest and probably most unhealthy addiction, which would be playing EverQuest. And I started like 8th grade or freshman year, and it consumed me all the way into the beginning of junior year. And I'll put in some pictures. My character's name was Lyoko, which, you know, that's one of the reasons my username is Lyoko37, which is based off of the French anime Code Lyoko, just in case you guys didn't know. But EverQuest, it's an MMORPG. It was called EverQuest because it never ended. It kept on coming out with expansions. It was one of the really big popular ones by Sony. I was a cleric, high elf, and I got pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. Sadly, that had to come to an end because near the end of it, I got obsessed and I was playing all the time, and like I had like 5 accounts, 5, not 10, because 5, and you had to pay for them, and it was like $14.99 a month. You do the math, and then there were expansions for all of them, and then I would play them all at once. I would play 5 different accounts at once, 3 on one computer, 2 on another. It was batshit insanity. But my grades started to plummet and bad things happened, and then two of my friends, Kelsey and David, they were like, no! And they got me away from it and had me hanging out with real people that I could touch, and that just sounds bad, but yeah, no more of that. It's sad though, because I liked playing with people. It was the whole social aspect. And then after that I moved on to RC Online, I think it was called. I played it with a few people that I knew from EverQuest, but I kind of fell out of it because I got really involved with school and theater and band. Not really so much band, but theater. And then finally comes WoW. And I'm playing WoW currently, but it's an off and on relationship because I'll play for a few months and then get bored and stop playing because there isn't as much of a social aspect to WoW. There's a lot of people, but the game isn't set up where you actually need to group with each other. It's set up where you play the game by yourself until you get to level 85, and then you're only in a group when you're like in an instance where you're doing crazy things with each other, like fighting. Yeah, well, you get the gist of that. But anyway, you basically pay $14.99 for levels 1 through 84 to play by yourself. So, in all honesty, those levels you shouldn't have to pay for. You shouldn't have to start paying for the game monthly until you get to 85 when you're actually going to be grouping, because the game isn't set up anymore to be like that. So yeah. So I think that's all I have about that certain thing. But Sam, I definitely played that Pictionary game, telephone game. I don't remember what it was called, but Sarah's family actually has like the rules and the timer and the drawing things and all the crazy stuff that you do, and it was awesome. And there was one time where I thought like there was these aliens trying to recycle, but it was actually this guy that was trying to keep aliens out with a force field. Who knew, right? Ray, I've played Paper Mario, only a little bit. I own it, but I don't know why I've never played it. Kingdom Hearts, I need to play. I've only played a little bit, and I don't know. I like Final Fantasy, and I like Disney, so you'd think like, bam, yeah. But again, games that you don't play with people, I'm kind of just like, what's the point? Because I could just be doing something else. In other news, Kyle is now on Friday, because I kicked his ass back there. Well, Ray did, but I did too, because, yeah. And then we now have a new Monday, apparently. Andrei, which will be exciting. I've talked to you a little bit, so woo! I haven't watched any of your videos yet, I'm sorry. I've been at work. Both times you've talked to me, I've been at work, so you can see how that goes. I'm also, in a few hours, in 11 hours, I will be going to Tennessee. Well, driving to Tennessee with my mom and my sister because we're going for a wedding for my cousin, which will be fun, but being in a car with my sister for 10 hours could end badly. And I'm not sure if I'm going to have signal out there, which is scary because I love being glued to my phones and my other technologies. I'm pretty sure I'm wired in right now. But anyway, work is going well. Yay, things are finally working out for me there, and I'm working on my grad school application, trying to decide where I want to go and that whole shitstorm. And I think that's all for this week, guys. I will see you next Thursday.